All right, let's jump into this deep dive. Today, we're going to be talking about 1984 by George Orwell. We've got the PDF right here, 1984, Orwell George, zlibrary.pdf. And yeah, I've always found dystopian fiction interesting, but 1984 is just something else. The way Orwell describes Oceania and the party and Big Brother, it's just so believable and so scary.
Yeah, and it's interesting how Orwell takes these concepts like totalitarianism and propaganda and manipulating language and just makes them feel so real. You feel like you're right there in Airstrip 1 with Winston, and you're experiencing this world yourself.
Totally. Like that part where the chocolate ration gets cut to 20 grams. It's more than just about there not being enough chocolate. It's about how the party makes people celebrate that they get even less. It shows how they change what people think is real.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The party wants to control everything, not just things like chocolate, but also what people believe. They want people to be happy with the little they have and see it as a good thing instead of something bad.
Yeah, like some kind of messed up experiment on everyone. But the thing that I find really freaky is the thought police. It's like they've made everyone paranoid and turned people against each other.
And the telescreens make that fear even worse. They're like the eyes and ears of the party everywhere. It's like that idea of a panopticon where nobody has any privacy. Makes you wonder about all the cameras and tracking we have today. Are we headed in that direction?
That's a big reason why 1984 still matters today. It makes us think about these hard questions about security versus freedom and how technology can be used to control people.
Right, and that control even includes messing with history itself. Winston's job at the Ministry of Truth, where he rewrites the past to fit what the party wants, is just crazy. It shows how easy it is to change the truth.
Yeah, like that saying, who controls the past controls the future. If you can get rid of facts and change history to what you want, then you can control how people see the world.
And those memory holes where all the evidence of the past goes, poof, it's not just made up. We see that happening today with censorship and people trying to silence others who disagree with them, trying to make everyone believe the same thing.
Which leads us to one of the most mind-blowing ideas in the book, doublethink. It's like some crazy mental gymnastics being able to believe two things that contradict each other at the same time.
It's like superpowered cognitive dissonance. And those party slogans, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength, they're perfect examples of it. They're designed to stop people from thinking critically and make them just accept anything without questioning it.
It's not just believing lies. It's about not even being able to tell what's true and what's false anymore. And the scary part is we see doublethink happening in real life, too, in propaganda and politics and even just regular conversations sometimes.
It's like a sneaky way to control people. If you can make someone doubt what they see and hear, and even their own sanity, then you control what they think and believe. And that's a scary thought.
So with all this surveillance and doublethink and the thought police always watching, where does Winston find any hope at all?
He sees it in the proles. They're the people who live outside the party's strict rules, and they still have some of that basic human spirit. Remember when Winston buys that glass paperweight from Mr. Charrington's shop? It's like a connection to the past, to a time before the party.
Yeah, it's like a symbol of beauty and being different in this world where everyone has to be the same. And that old man in the pub who can't remember life before the revolution, it shows how well the party has erased the past, but it also shows that people still want to connect to something bigger than the party.
Exactly. It suggests that even with all that power, there's still some resistance, some memory, some human connection that the party can't completely destroy.
And that little spark turns into a flame when Winston meets Julia, right? Their love affair is like a direct challenge to the party saying, we're going to do what we want, even if you don't like it.
Their relationship shows how people resist oppression. Julia's way of rebelling is practical. She wants to find little bits of freedom here and there. But Winston wants a bigger, more intellectual kind of rebellion, which is more dangerous.
And things get even riskier when Winston starts to believe that O'Brien, this high-ranking party guy, is actually part of the Brotherhood, the group that's supposedly fighting against Big Brother.
That meeting with O'Brien is a turning point. Winston wants to believe so badly that there are other people who think like him. But as we'll see, that hope can be dangerous. It can lead to freedom, or it can lead to destruction.
And I think that's a good place to stop for now. The suspense is building, and things are about to get a lot darker for Winston.
Yeah, come back next time, and we'll dive into the heart of Winston's rebellion and see what happens when you try to fight against Big Brother.
Welcome back to our deep dive on 1984. We left off with Winston and Julia feeling hopeful about O'Brien maybe being on their side.
And Orwell really plays with that hope, doesn't he? Makes you think maybe things will work out for them. Remember that little room they had over Mr. Charrington's shop? They felt so safe there, away from the party.
Yeah, it's kind of sad how naive they were. thinking they could have even a little bit of freedom in a place where the party controls everything.
It's messed up, right, Mr. Charrington? That nice old guy turns out to be thought police. The party is everywhere. They can turn anyone into a spy. You can't trust anybody.
When that telescreen behind the picture suddenly turns on, it's like their whole world collapses. Winston and Julia get caught so fast, it's brutal.
It shows you there's no escaping the party in Oceania. And then they're taken to the Ministry of Love, mini-love in Newspeak. Another example of how the party twists words to mean the opposite.
Mini-leave. The place where love goes to die, that's where they really get brutal. They don't just hurt your body, they break your mind. And we hear about these other prisoners, the polyps, they're like the worst of the worst.
The way Orwell describes Winston being a prisoner is intense. It's not just torture. It's like they're trying to brainwash him, take away everything he believes in and make him a different person.
You never know what's going to happen to you next. That fear and uncertainty must be worse than any physical pain. And then there's that mystery of Room 101. What do you think it is? This place everyone's so scared of.
Room 101 is like the party's ultimate weapon. Whatever your biggest fear is, that's what they use against you. It's like a personal hell designed to make you give up completely.
So it's not enough to just punish people who disagree. They want to completely change how you think, make you love Big Brother even while they're torturing you. That's messed up.
It shows how well the party understands how people think. They know that to really control someone, you have to control their thoughts and feelings, not just what they do. They want to rebuild Winston from the inside out, not just shut him up.
And O'Brien, the guy Winston thought would save him, he turns out to be the cruelest one of all. The way he calmly explains the party's ideas, how they don't care about truth and just want power, it's scary but also kind of fascinating.
O'Brien is like the perfect example of a brainwashed person. He believes in the party so much that he thinks anything they do is right. He's like the scariest kind of enemy, the one who thinks they're doing good while they're actually doing evil.
And it's heartbreaking to see what happens to Julia. She was so strong and rebellious, but the party turns her into someone totally different. It shows that even the strongest people can be broken.
Again, shows how much power the party has. They'll do anything to stop people from disagreeing, even if it means destroying the people they claim to be helping. And Winston's worst moment comes in Room 101.
We know he's terrified of rats, but it's not just that he's scared. When they bring out the rats, he breaks down and betrays Julia. He begs them to torture her instead of him.
It's like he completely destroys himself. He chooses fear over love, self-preservation over loyalty. In that moment, Winston becomes everything he hates. He accepts the party's way of thinking. He betrays his own values just to escape his worst nightmare.
It's hard to read that part. You want him to stay strong, to hold on to who he is, but the party is too powerful. They know exactly how to manipulate people's deepest fears and instincts.
And by doing that, they get what they want. Complete control. Winston doesn't just give in. He embraces Big Brother. It shows how easy it is for anyone, even the most rebellious people, to be broken if you know how to push their buttons.
But there's something strange about Winston's final encounter with Julia after they've both been through hell in the Ministry of Love. They're like strangers now.
Yeah, it's like all that love and passion they had, that rebellion, it's just gone. Like someone put out a fire, there's nothing left but ashes. They can't even look at each other.
It really shows you how effective the party is. They don't just control what you do, they control how you feel. They've completely destroyed the connection between Winston and Julia, turned their love into something that hurts.
But even though they're both broken, there's this weird moment at the end when they meet. It's like they're trying to be defiant somehow. I know what you mean. Like when Julia tells Winston that she betrayed him too. Just like he betrayed her. It's almost like she's relieved to say it. Like they both realized they were just pawns in the party's game.
Yeah, by admitting they both betrayed each other. They're admitting that the party was just too strong for them. They're not fighting against the party anymore. They're fighting against the way the party made them act.
Exactly. And that brings us to Winston at the very end, when he finally accepts the party's version of reality. He loves Big Brother. Those 3 words say it all.
It's a chilling ending, for sure. And it makes you think, did Winston really mean it, or was it just a way to survive, to shut off all the pain and confusion he was feeling?
It could be either one, I guess. But the party got what it wanted. They broke Winston's spirit. They changed his mind. And now he's the perfect citizen. He doesn't just obey Big Brother. He loves Big Brother.
But the way he says it, it feels empty. Like he doesn't really believe it. Maybe deep down, there's still a little bit of rebellion that the party couldn't crush.
That's what makes 1984 so powerful. It doesn't give you easy answers. It makes you think about what's true and what's not, about how much freedom we really have and how strong the human spirit can be.
It's like a warning about what could happen if we stop thinking for ourselves, if we let people in power manipulate us. And it's a reminder to always question what you're told and to fight for what you believe in.
Because the world of 1984, scary as it is, it's not that different from our world. We see doublethink all around us in the news, in politics, and how people try to control what we see and hear. Orwell was trying to warn us about how easy it is for tyranny to happen, even in places that seem free.
And that warning is still important today. Freedom isn't something you just get, it's something you have to fight for every day. And that starts with being aware, with questioning things, and resisting anyone who tries to control our minds.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into 1984, I'll leave you with this. What would your own Room 101 be like? What's your biggest fear? And how could someone use it against you? It's not a fun question to think about, but it's important to ask ourselves, especially these days.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into Orwell's world. Remember, Big Brother might be watching, but so are we. Keep thinking critically and never stop questioning what you're told.